Ladyidiy, animism, never settle. Nail health guide, ladyidiy chores.
The teeniest, tiniest abrasions or open wounds can pose a risk, and even recently shaved or waxed legs can allow a microorganism to enter through the skin. During the service, if your cuticle is cut or if a callus is shaved down, even small abrasions like that can allow bacteria in. Now that might not sound so bad, but if you want to know what you can contract from a dirty nail tool or foot spa, the two biggest troublemakers are mycobacteria infections and staph infections. I urge you to alternate between Googling and using your imagination if you're curious as to what they are and what they can look like. I'm not about to get into those gory details, but take my word for it, it's no picnic. What you want to determine is if your tools have been properly disinfected or, better yet, sterilized in an autoclave, which sort of looks like a toaster, and the tools are kept in small disposable envelopes, and those are for metal tools only. Any other tools such as buffers or files should be changed with each new client. Some salons will give regular clients a box where they can keep their own files, or they'll just give you the little tools at the end of your manicure pedicure as a take-home gift. You should see them take your tools out of an autoclave pouch, or feel free to ask them if the tools have been cleaned ahead of time using an autoclave. You also know you're in good hands if your technician wears gloves. The concern with busier salons is that they have less opportunity to sterilize or at least properly disinfect their stuff because they're constantly turning clients. It's advised to visit a salon during a weekday at the beginning of the week when there's a lull in volume. Now, of course, that might not work with your schedule, but that's the advice I'm going to give you. That way, at least you know you're getting good, clean stuff. Now, if you sit down and they break out some raggedy-looking tools, grab your purse and leave. The screens and tubes of the foot spas harbor biofilm, which is basically layers of cells and proteins, which is really hard to remove, and of course, that's where all the bacteria grows. So what this means is even a little wipe down isn't doing anything because the real business is going on in the filtration and drain system. You have to ensure that the basins and the inner workings are disinfected after each use and cleaned nightly, and there are very specific details about how to do that. You can also opt for a salon which does their pedicures in basins without drains. So for example, they'll use a really large bowl, and this simply has to be cleaned and disinfected after each use. Many federal, state, and provincial, and even municipal bodies are starting to heavily regulate salons to ensure proper cleaning of tools in foot spas to avoid infection. You can go on your city's public website and search salons or cosmeticians to see what kind of regulations come up. They may have a list of salons which are safe to visit or not to visit, or they'll have a sample sign or sticker which is displayed at salons which have passed or failed inspections. The great news is that the good nail salons of the world have rejoiced and embraced the new regulations about cleanliness so that their operation can regain a strong reputation. The ones who are super clean are very proud about it, and they will eagerly tell you what they do to keep their things clean. If you know anything about me outside of Clean My Space, like you follow me on Instagram, you know I like doing my nails. I have a plethora of nail tools at home, and taking care of them properly also helps keep infections at bay. Just because you're using it all the time doesn't mean that it's always going to be clean. So to properly clean and disinfect your tools, what you can do is wash them first with warm soapy water, and then place your metal tools in a pot of boiling water for 20 minutes. Once that's done, pat it dry so that it doesn't rust. You can also soak them in rubbing alcohol for 30 minutes and rinse them well and dry them well.
When a person has a secret is not willing to tell others, you will find a tree hole and set your secret to the tree hole. Ladyidiy is A.L. Bobo's lady. She launched activities called Give Me a Love Letter, I Find Love for You. As long as you send a love letter to Ladyidiy, she will treasure for you in Love Bank. Give Ladyidiy a love letter, let those you love or loved meet again,